you just mentioned like the freedom to do other projects and to do different stuff like that. How do you stay fresh? How do you keep the creative juices going and like keep your performance at a high level, Because I mean, you mentioned as well being out on tour with Nate, you're working with that other band, right? You've done a lot of stuff. How do you keep it going, Yeah,
it's a great question, man. I would say I've got an abnormal capacity to get a lot done. Most people around me would say like, Heath somehow figures out in a day to do it would take most people a week. And I think if I had to boil that down to a few things, I would say I don't procrastinate on anything. I always, when I have an idea, so like, I guess for people that are watching this or listening to it, I'll give like a 30-second kind of what all the things that my hands are in right now. So I have the Meraki Agency, which is a video production company, documentaries, filmmaking, branding. I have a nonprofit called Mass and Matter, which does, it's a public art benefit nonprofit for the city of Tacoma. I have the Lamora Theater, which is a 120-seat speakeasy black box theater in Tacoma, Washington. I have a project called the General Public, which is me doing guerrilla art in the city. So we do usually a poster every month that goes out. I design a poster, print a couple hundred copies, and then in the middle of the night, they go out on street posts and telephone poles all over the city. And if you find one, you rip it down and it's yours to keep for free. And then when they're gone, and they'll never be seen again. I'll never do the same print twice. So that's got a viral following. I've also, I think, written 29 books, and I have a weekly podcast, and then I'm a father and a husband and try to be a decent neighbor. So I got my hands in a lot of things. I always say yes. I say yes, and then I let what's kind of the deciding factor if it's something I should stick with is if I have the tenacity to keep up on it. So a lot of projects I'll still start. Like if I'm writing a show for the theater, I might have this great idea and I think it's the coolest thing and I want to go for it. And so then I pour all my energy into it. And if it starts to fizzle over time, I have no problem deleting it and walking away and starting the next one. But I think that the way I decide the next project, and that's the other element is traveling with a famous comedian as tour manager. So like we did 180 something shows last year.
Wow.
Around, 40 something states, I think 7 or 8 international countries. Like it was a lot.
Really? Oh, cool.
Yep. And then we just released a Netflix special. So helped producing on that state. Yep. That went it was in the top 10 on Netflix for a few months, I think.
Oh,
6
incredible.
weeks, 2 months. Yeah. So, the unhealthy side of that is I'm never satisfied. So like I do this crazy world tour and I help build this comedian's career to several million followers in less than a year and start working on the Netflix side of things and organizing a world tour. And in my mind, it's never enough. I'm like, okay, so yeah, cool, Netflix. And that same night, I'm like, okay, what's the next thing I start on?
Yeah.
So there is a shadow side to me getting a lot done. And it's, I don't know how to rest. I don't know how to, I oftentimes have a hard time being present, or if I'm on vacation, being present with the family and just sitting in the lake and doing nothing. Like that's really difficult to me. But when I find something that sounds exciting and I let it sit for a day or two, and then I start chipping away at it and trying to put some terms to it, and then it starts to kind of bubble to the surface. If it's life-giving and fun and energetic, then I keep with it. And if it feels like something like I can tell I'm losing steam, it's a terrible analogy. I always say it's how we kill our babies. Like we use that phrase in editing. Like you have a video that you've got 1,000 really great lines. Well, sometimes you gotta kill the babies. They end up on the editing floor and they just don't make the cut. And that's how I am with the work that I do. Is if it starts to fizzle, or if I find myself just kind of like, I have to work on this again, and it starts to feel like a burden, then I cut it and don't look back.
But on that same thread, then you essentially are your business, right? As an entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're the one who
Yeah.
wakes up every day, does the work, does everything. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that shadow side of it, right? That kind of restlessness, so to speak, and that
Mm-hmm.
inability to maybe relax and rest. Have you seen that come out then in ways of like fatigue or different like
Yeah.
sorts of burnout? Has any of that happened, or how do you keep your body and your mind present and fresh, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you are right. That's, as entrepreneurs, we are our businesses, right? Like
Totally.
everywhere you go is everyone's gonna be like, oh, he does the posters, right? Like,
Yeah.
so how do you keep yourself going, like
Yeah.
literally physiologically going?
Well, that's a great question. I don't drink.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I used to, and I just found that made me just kind of depressed and moody and waking up tired and headaches, and
Drinking's the worst.
it's the worst, man. Like
It's a poison. It's a literal poison.
it is a literal poison, and it's the most
Literally
socially
poisonous.
acceptable poison. Like
Mm-hmm.
I watch TV shows, and I'm like, we live in a culture of drinking.
Well,
It's
let me quickly just mention that even though it is the worst, like a brew once in a while, has to
well,
find
dude,
its
I
way in
love
there.
non-alcoholic beer. I love the taste of beer, man. Like, um,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
so I find the way that I keep going is sometimes I just push through. I
Okay.
cutting alcohol. Um, I've been really diligent in my sleep as well.
Oh man.
And that's one of those things. Like even when I was on tour last year, the joke was like after the show, everyone would go out and party and stay up and get little sleep. And I would always go straight. I mean, I was straight back to the hotel and in
Mm-hmm.
bed, and so sleep for me is a huge one.
100%.
I think inviting people into what I'm doing is a big piece too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get energized when the stuff that I'm doing takes flight and people notice it.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the gorilla poster stuff. Like nobody knows it's me. It's secret. And I've got people like I actually got caught last month putting some of the posters up, and this absolute stranger walked up and was like, "I just heard that like somebody on social media was saying they think it might be you, and it's you." And I didn't know this person. Like, how do you even know who I am? Like, uh, which actually leads into a point. Like, I don't have any social media, man. Like, I
Ooh.
don't I don't spend my time doom scrolling. I don't spend my time uh, checking in. I like my phone is hardly ever on. Like, I mean, I got a bunch of text messages while we're sitting here. Like, I had no clue. And so
Mm-hmm.
when I get into that zone, I notice how many times people will start on something and then within 3 or 4 minutes they're back to this, and then it's like you're having to get psyched up to finish what you're working on. I just don't have it. I just push through.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if we're talking about the dark shadow side of things, I would say I have a really unhealthy balance I have a really unhealthy drive for approval.
Mm.
Um, when I share the vision and people aren't excited, like this theater right now, it's a building from 1886, and it's in a lot of shambles, but it's also one of the coolest places in Tacoma.
Mm.
Well, almost everyone I brought over, it's two responses. Oh my God, this is amazing. I see it. How can I help? Or,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, what are you doing? And so
Mm-hmm.
I take on that approach of like, how do you eat an elephant? It's just a bite at a time, man. And so I'll usually let something sit a little bit to see if it's like if the energy is dying within me for a new project. Like if I don't feel instantly like excited by it for a while, and I notice like, man, the last 3 or 4 times I've visited this creative thing, it's just not there. That's when I decide like it's time for it to go. But
Mm-hmm.
other times I'll go into a theater and I'll be like, well, I thought I was like this morning, I thought I was going to be running electrical. Well, the plumbers are in there. So, and we have no electric because we cut that yesterday. And so then I have to look at the next best alternative thing to, okay, what can I do today? Well, maybe moving stuff from the other building into the new building is how I take that next step to getting something done. And so
Mm.
I also am pretty quick to find an alternate. I'm pretty quick to know that my determination can be thwarted into a way of going, okay, you thought you were doing electric today because you have a timeline of opening this thing, but what's the other thing you got 6 hours today? What are you going to do that will make progress, but not to the level that you thought? And you just take a stab at it. But
Mm-hmm.
then the other thing is, I really do believe like we're so addicted to work, man, and there is a beauty to playing. And so
Mm-hmm.
I tend to find like if something doesn't feel playful anymore, like I usually just let it die out.
Yeah.
Like I always am, I'm always trying to find the new, fun, quirky, creative thing. And if it sits with me for a minute and resonates, then I know to give it some attention. And if it's time for it to die, then it's time for it to die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so interesting. I love that last little bit, especially because I mean, in my work, a lot of the executives or high level officials that I work with are all like very just corporate, very like
Mm-hmm.
right that 9 to 5. We're here to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not even 9 to 5. They do 7 to 12 or whatever. Just like
It's crazy,
constant.
man.
Oh, dude, it's insane. Like,
and it's like for what? So they like
make a lot of money.
I mean, yeah, you make some money, and then guess what? None of it goes with you, and
Mm-hmm.
and I don't like. I hear what you're saying because I live in that same world, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
we got to do this, and this is the business, and we got to stop being so serious, or stop like it's time to get serious. Like I laugh at that. Like it's stupid. Yeah, Alan Watts.
Mm-hmm.
Is one of my favorite philosophers, and he has this whole bit about and this was the thing that really changed my life. Is he said we have this myth that like life is going somewhere, and he said there's a reason that we use the word play. Like we play an instrument, we play soccer, we play sports. We've been sold this lie, and the lie is that we're on a trajectory with our life, and you go to school, and then you get a good internship, and you get a good job, and then you get good money, and then you have a family, and you put your
Mm-hmm.
kids in a nice private school,
Mm-hmm.
and then you retire, and you go do all the fun things you want to do. And he says it's just not how. It's a lie we've been sold, and the universe just doesn't work like that. Because he said if it was, it's literally the same as a dancer walking into a ballroom and saying and pointing to a place on the ground and saying, that is where I'm going to take my last step on this dance. And he said, and what you do is you forget that the whole purpose was dancing and enjoying it and laughing while you did it. And and that's where for me, I'm like, I've never taken that solid career path of like,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of my friends are doing it. And guess
Mm-hmm.
what? They got the nicer cars out in the front yard, and they've got vacations and all that. But what they don't have is the laughing kids in their backyard like I do. What they don't have is a shitty cup of coffee in the morning watching the birds fly all around you because you've been intentional in setting up bird houses because you like to sit and it's just, to me, it was like, why do that chase? And then you're sitting in traffic driving to a job that you hate, and then you come home and you have to finish up those emails because the owner of the business or your boss, who's making way more money and paying you not what you're worth anyway, is demanding stuff from you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get time with your kids, you miss their soccer games, you don't have dinner, you're exhausted, and then you go back and do it again tomorrow in the car. Like I
Mm-hmm.
it's the American scheme, man. I've never enjoyed that world.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, on the flip side, some people love it, that I
Don't
mean,
love it,
you
yeah.
mentioned it earlier, just that consistency, that constant paycheck. Cause I mean, again, as entrepreneurs, we every month I think is a different amount. I've never been paid the same thing twice, which
No,
is
never.
so exciting, but also so like some months I'm like, oh geez, like
Yeah.
what are we gonna do?
Well, and you're like, and that constantly on the hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Like it does take a mental toll. It's
100%.
exhausting. It's exhausting going, I don't have a guarantee that I'm going to have a paycheck on Friday.
Nope.
but I've not missed a paycheck, and like it's gotten real tight. But it's the same thing. It's like the same guarantee. Like if I had a 6-figure high-end salary at a tech firm in Seattle, all it takes is me saying something in a Teams chat to the wrong person, and that job, I'm looking for my next paycheck anyway. So like, I'd rather be living life on my terms. And I always joke, like I started my own company because I hate mornings. Like I go to bed at 2 or 3 every night, and then I wake up at 9, 10, 11. That's the life I want to live, man. Like
there you go.
You can get in your nice BMW and drive up 45 minutes to Seattle and sit in traffic, and I hope that the BMW driving is nice enough to make it worth it for you. It's just not for me.
Well, the other thing that I've noticed too is like that whole aspect of like playing, right? And this is why I love sports as a metaphor, right? We talk a lot. So I did track and field in college, right? And
right.
We talk a lot about how, well, one, it's not about being the fastest person there, but it's about having your best day, right? And part of that could be a level of just like rigidness, right? If you've ever tried to sprint, but you like tighten up everywhere, you're not going anywhere, right? Versus
totally.
How you just relax and run not only your own race, then run a relaxed, like you're still pushing, right? You're still doing your thing, but you have to relax and let it go, like go with the flow in a sense, right? And just run, versus everyone gets so caught up in just that idea of like rigid tightness, like and then you're not gonna make it half as fast,
Yeah, it's funny you say that, man, because as you were just, I've never considered this, but like something that you just made me think of was like, I also really enjoy inviting others to kind of play with what I'm doing. So like, I love taking the kids out to do the hunt with posters with me. Like we might not have the biggest house in the world, but very few kids are going to be able to tell their kids like, man, me and my dad used to do this really wild thing in the city. Like, and even with this theater, like yesterday, we had some big decisions. Now for this theater, I'm the owner. I'm on the lease. I'm paying for the permits. I mean, the entire risk is 100% on me and my family and our house and all that. But I also had volunteers there yesterday that were artists and actors and improv folks that were helping me work. And there was a ceiling thing that came up, and I could make the decision, but I just have so much fun and going like, hey guys, what do you guys, okay, let's take a vote. Who wants the ceiling gone? Who wants it painted? And being able to invite others into it so that the play becomes a team and I just get to facilitate that. That's the other amazing part is inviting people into what you're doing, not just, hey, I have this vision and I wrote this show and I want to do this, but like, how do we as a community, as a tribe, make this better? I mean, I get to kibosh it if I want, but 99% of the time, there's a lot more creative people than me that have really great ideas, and B, it really does create that community of buy-in of having people going, yeah, my thumbprints are all over this. I made the decision to do this. I suggested that we put this, this in this corner of the room. And then they have that ownership that they're excited to tell their friends. And then, I really see kind of what I'm doing more is just like curating community than it is a top-down executive running a business.
And I mean, that's such a huge piece of wellness, right? Right. In the corporate wellness setting, we look at a lot about like, do you feel essentially loved by your company or by your boss? Do you feel like taken care of? Kind of that story you told earlier about, I want to extend my vacation 2 days. And he's like, nah. It's like, all right, well, later.
I'm out of here. Yeah.
Like there's so much that goes into fostering a supportive workplace community that just gets overlooked. And that just doesn't promote healthy and good performance. So it sounds like even in the creation of the theater, you're already fostering creative performance, which I would argue that
Yeah.
is great energy for the theater. That's exactly what you want for a place like that.
Yeah. You're exactly right. Like I
Mm.
have this mindset. I have this kind of mantra that I deal with. It's like you have invitation and you have challenge. And so what I try to do is I try to invite people into what we're doing, and that we create, like, this theater is a prime example because it's just the newest thing I'm working on right now.
Mm-hmm.
I invite people into this. They come, they donate, they bring their saws, and we're building stuff and tearing it down. But also, it's a great opportunity for me to challenge some of those key folks to go, okay, I'm going to put, it's the faithful and the little, faithful and the more sort of analogy from scripture. It's like, okay, I saw this one guy really start to get a vision for this one thing we were working on yesterday. Well, man, I don't have the energy for that. He does. So I'm like, let me challenge him with, like, okay, now I'm going to put some leadership on you. I'm going to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you invite people and you challenge them, then guess what? Then he has some ownership in this thing. So he's not just a minion working for me,
Mm-mm.
but he's going to show up even when I don't need him because he has some buy-in and he's been challenged. And then you invite a little bit more, and then you challenge more, and then you invite more and challenge more. And then the next thing you know, you have a team of people that you've poured into over time. And I really do see, I used to be in this pastoral world and this concept of discipleship, of like raising up the next person to take over, right? And I really do see that as the most joyful part of what I do is watching people feel this ownership and feel challenged and feel like they've got some skin in the game, and then going like, this is our thing. Like, I don't like to talk in me terms a lot, especially when I'm working with those. It's like, it often goes back to, well, what do you want to do with the theater? I'm like, I don't know. What do we want to do with this?
Mm-hmm.
And it feels awkward because they're like, why do I get say? I haven't put a penny into this. And I'm like, yeah, but this is our team. This is what we're building. And so let's come together and let's play. And then we get to invite more friends into it. And then the vision kicks off, and then the city starts getting excited about it. And then this becomes a place that people want to talk about, and they start talking about, and then you have your defenders rise up, and and somebody talks crap about me on social media, and then guess what? Then I have a little bit of a tribe that's like, hang on, I actually work with this guy and you're completely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that buy-in, you're still building a tribe. It's just more grassroots than it would be from a top-down bullying power position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you noticed then in your media company, you take the same approach?
Yeah. So the same thing in the media company. So I co-own it with a buddy, from the other company that said, let's start this. And we have very different roles. And that's something I've learned a lot too, is I can't control everything, and I've got to set people up for the role they're good at and is somewhat life-giving to them. But like I've told him quite a bit, like, I want you to lead this meeting. I should be leading the meeting, but that doesn't invest in his growth.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I set him up and go, hey, let's talk. I think the best leaders are the ones, and I try to do this, is go, okay, you're going to take this meeting on with this giant client tomorrow. I think they're going to ask these questions, but let's just talk ahead of time and make sure you're set. I'm going to be in the meeting. If you get in over your head, I will rescue if I need to, but I want you to step up here. And you might say something that doesn't work, or you might say something that irritates them, or you might do something and we might have to recover, but that's how we learn. And I think the good leaders take risks on that and go, now, instead of you just being a videographer, now you're actually a businessman. You're in these meetings negotiating contracts. You're thinking about structures. You're trying to relate to what the client's feeling from a sales standpoint. And so, yeah, even in the media company, we've set some definite roles of who does what to make sure that all the bases are being covered. But it's constantly, you have a videographer that is an intern out of high school, and you go, hey, I'm going to actually take you into this. I'm going to take you into the shoot, and you're going to be dealing with a guy who is the CEO of a company that's got 18 international offices and runs, a $500 billion of assets for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Just come hang and learn and talk and be yourself. And if you say something stupid, guess what? I'll cover for you. Like, but to invite them to the table at that level is so much better than saying, no, you're at the kid table until you grow up to some
Mm-hmm.
weird level that I think you should be at. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and then it gets that ownership, because then they want to take control of it, and they want to, and then they think about it on the weekend, and then they, you know what I mean? And then it's rumbling in their head. And then when you
Yeah.
actually go, what do you think we should do in this situation? And they have a voice and they feel safe that they can share that. And then if you engage that, man, you're just growing up people that
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, like from a discipleship, like we go back to that, hopefully you're at a place where you're raising people to keep raising people. I remember there's this whole, I haven't used this analogy in years, but my understanding was years ago they asked the CEO of McDonald's, like, what is your number one key to success? And he said, we never taught people how to make hamburgers. We taught people how to teach people to make hamburgers. And I just thought the multiplication versus the
Mm-hmm.
addition, rather than one person mentoring one person. Yeah, no, I'm going to mentor two, and they're going to each mentor two, and then that four is going to mentor 8 and 16. And that's how we actually make some movement, not by,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, you teach people how to make hamburgers, oh yeah, they're going to quit, and then you got to teach somebody else. But if you have a
Mm-hmm.
team that knows how to teach others how to make hamburgers, then if we have a huge hiring thing, then let the team go for it.
Yeah, you're set. And so,
Yeah.
have you then seen, how does the team perform then in the media company? Do you see, I mean, if you have that buy-in, if you have that love of the company and the investment in them, right? That high school intern who's now talking to these CEOs, I'm sure bragging about to their friends, being like, oh my God, I just met Tim Cook, right?
Yeah, right.
Whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
how then do you see that being reflected, like that form of leadership, that form of discipleship being then reflected in the performance?
Yeah, I think it's definitely not a one size fits all, because people are going to
Mm-hmm.
move at very different speeds.
Of course.
Some people, I think you just honor where they're at, and
Mm-hmm.
and again, like some people you invite them in, and they go afterwards. They go, and you try to create a culture where it's not top down. That, like, look, I have to own this thing. Like, if it goes belly up, it's on me. But also, I'm okay to take some losses here and there so that lessons are learned for people that need to be invested into. And I don't see that a lot in business. So sometimes you invite people up, and afterwards they come in and they go, hey, I had it happen one time where I called somebody up and was like, hey, I think you're ready to lead this. You go. And they were like, okay, cool. Yeah, 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 yeah. They did fine. And afterwards they came to me and were like, hey, can I talk to you? I was like, yeah. And they're like, please don't ever do that to me again. Like, you don't know that last night I didn't sleep and I got in a fight with my spouse because I was so tense this weekend, and she couldn't figure out why I was so tense. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and so then you go, but dude, I'm so sorry. Like, I just
Yeah,
wanted to call you
I've
into this,
had.
man. If you're not ready, I'm not going to force you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but just know that, like, if you want to take a step like that again, your hand's not smacked for saying that. It's not like you've said no and now you never get the opportunity. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and so you have people like that just go, I don't like that. Please don't call me up to that. Then you got others that are like, step up to the challenge, own it, and then they start. Then you go, okay, maybe I'll do another one of these meetings, and I'm just going to be, I'm going to be muted with my camera off and just listening. And if that goes well, then guess what? Maybe the next time I'm not going to be in this meeting at all, and I'm going to say, I'm going to set you up for success by going, hey, here's my expectations, and at the end, I'd like an email, like, with just the bullet points so that we know what the next steps are. And if you need help getting to that bridge, like, reach out and I'll help you get there.
Mm-hmm.
And so giving people that permission to go, let's grow you at your speed, but then also seeing in them the things that most people don't believe in themselves about. I think that's what a lot of this is about. Is just like, no, like, your insecurities, just because no one's ever given you that opportunity to believe in yourself. And so If I meet with you beforehand and set you up for success, and I'm not going to let you just fail, and then we can recap afterwards and go, hey, this was great. Next time I wouldn't say this because of, next time I wouldn't phrase things in this way because based off our history with this client, or, hey, you said something and I totally forgot to tell you that the last project we did with this client didn't end the best. And so we're on a little bit of awkward terms. And I didn't set you up really well. Like, it just kind of depends on who the person is. Some people own it and want that challenge and want that correction. Some people are like, yo, I know what you're trying to do and I appreciate your effort, but like, I don't want to be in that, yeah. And you go, I respect that totally.
It sounds like you're coaching these people, And I was just on a call with another entrepreneur, and she was talking to me about when the vessel meets opportunity, right? Like when you prepare your vessel, you prepare yourself, you get mentally prepared, and you need a coach for that sometimes, right? Like you need somebody like you to step in and be like, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to set you up for success. Like, boom, here we go. Launch, do it. Bang, you hit it, right? But if you're not then prepared, right, your vessel isn't ready, your mind isn't ready, your body's not ready, and you're stressed out, then odds are the meeting or the pitch could be a little bit iffy,
it could go, absolutely, dude. And it's the same philosophy that I would use in parenting. Like, I always say, like, from a parenting standpoint, I am a proponent of like raising your kids to move out. Like, I think the best parents
100%
raise your kids to move out. What you don't do is, hey, you turn 18, here's a key to a brand new car. Mom and dad are taking care of the bills. Don't worry, we signed the lease for you. We found you an apartment. We did that. Like, no. And guess what? You screw up and you mismanage your budget. Like, well, of course we're going to take you back home. We're your parents. Like, and so why wouldn't we treat our coworkers the same way, or our employees? And I think that's just a philosophy of kind of my heart. And probably a lot of that is the residual, like, pastoral kind of care side of what I do, which is funny because I'm not that caring of a person, but I really do believe that, it's the same thing as raising your kids to move out. Like, let these people do this. And then, my greatest hope is some of these videographers go off and start their own company and move to Australia and send me videos of the stuff that they're doing. That's so much bigger than I could have ever have done. But when they send that email, they're like, man, if you hadn't set me up for this, I don't know if I'd be here. And go like, well, then I did my job. Because in the same way that I want, I raised my kids to move out of the house. Like, I want to, I don't want you working for me for the rest of your life. Golly, I'll take the next, there's another group coming behind you that we'll get to invest in. My goal as a leader should be to work myself out of a job and to give you all the tools that you need and invite you to the conversations. And I typically start with 100% trust with people. And then if you break it, it's hard to a lot of people start with no trust and you have to gain that. No, I'm like, here's a key to my house. If you show up at 3 a.m. drunk on a Saturday, I'm going to take that key back. But right now, have access. Like, and then we'll deal with the problems when they come up. But
exactly.
But I try to be open-handed and letting people bring issues. You don't like something I did? Like, call me out on that. Like, yell at me. I don't care. Like, we'll work through this. Yeah.
No, I love that. And that's how I feel about even coaching my clients, right? No matter what we're doing, I don't want them to be at a place where they're on vacation and either they walk into a gym or there's an all-you-can-eat buffet and they're thinking like, oh no, like, what should I do? I need to call Tobias. I'll be like, nah, bro, like you got it. Like, you know exactly what to do, what equipment to use, right, when to start winding down for bed and like what your pre-sleep ritual is and all that kind of stuff, right? Or else we're not doing our jobs. We're not setting them up for success. And it's like that dependability, right? Codependence, which is just like, that's not.
Well, the best thing in your coaching would be like, I mean, I would assume an email going like, hey, Tobias, man, I went on the road this weekend. I just want you to know, man, there was a McDonald's in the parking lot of my hotel, but I remember you said this thing to me a couple months ago and it really got in my head that so I made something in my hotel room and I stopped at the grocery store and got the healthy stuff. Because then you're like, okay, great. Yeah. Like literally work me out of your life. Like, will you come back and you tell me that you made those decisions without
Mm-hmm.
me, that's what any coach would want for
100%.
the people they're coaching.
100%.
Now, the weird thing, dude, that I can't figure out
Mm-hmm.
is I have, and like I said, anyone around me is like, dude, you've got drive like no one I've ever met. The one area I can't figure it out is food in my life. And sorry, I shouldn't say food. I used to say food. I think it's bigger than that. I found some grace, giving myself grace with like the sleeping routine, which is huge to me. I've started meditating at night, which
Nice.
dude, that has just become
Wow.
awesome. Like
It's next
awesome.
level. Next
Oh, it's the
level.
best thing. I hate that for most of my religious upbringing that was so demonized and a practice not to even pursue. But it's like
Mm-hmm.
I know it lowers my blood pressure. I can feel like, but I think the one area I can't figure out is the self-love, self-care side of things. Because when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to exercise and eating right uh and resting and Sabbathing, it's like all those things that I should be doing, I just have not found. I'm like, I make my own schedule for a living. Why can't I put gym time in? I haven't done it yet, so it's obviously not a priority to me. But there's,
Well,
and I don't know if that's a religious thing of like, because I was taught for so long, like, oh, your job is to serve everybody else, and your job is like, Jesus put others first all the time, and that's what you got to. And I'm like, I know many pastors that have literally killed themselves because they are so unhealthy. Like they've taken care of everybody else, but not themselves, and that's the one area, dude. That's where I need your wisdom, man.
and
How do you learn to take care of yourself, and that's a value that's okay to have.
100%. And again, especially going back to this whole idea of like, you are your business essentially, right? So like the ROI of investing in yourself is through the roof. And so my first question would be, after just having this conversation, do you enjoy it?
Do I enjoy what?
Exercise
Eating?
and
No, I hate exercise.
yeah. And
I'll tell you what I do enjoy.
tell me.
I enjoy eating healthy. If I this is an excuse and I know it,
Mm.
but like if I had unlimited means, the first
Mhm.
thing I would do would, if I won the lottery tonight, I would hire a private chef and
100%.
go
Mhm.
cook me the healthiest stuff I have. If you put it in front of me, I'll
Yeah.
eat it. It's just I don't know where to start. And it sounds so stupid. Like I'm a 42-year-old, but
No,
like
no, no. That's
nutrition was
very valid.
never really
Nobody teaches it. Nobody teaches it, and
no.
nobody tells you what to do. And the people who do teach it are the ones who want you to eat the Oreos and want you to eat the like
Totally.
glass of milk every meal, right?
Yeah, like can I not find some?
Mm-hmm.
And I've had some really healthy meals, and I love eating healthy. I just don't
Of course.
know how to start it. B, it's a lot of work.
Mhm.
But then again, I know it's an excuse because I'm like, well, so is the 30 other things I'm doing in my life a lot
Mhm.
of work. Like,
Mhm.
why do I keep making excuses when it comes to slowing down? Even I've found such a joy. My wife and I have done this a few times. It's like we don't buy each other gifts for holidays or
Mhm.
birthdays and stuff. We buy each other experiences. That's how, like,
Yes.
so it's always stuff we have that creates memories. And we've a few times gone up and done those cooking classes where you sit and
Incredible.
and if you haven't done it, there is something so beautiful about feeling that connection to your food and like cutting it and spending time
Mhm.
washing it. And even like the guy that was leading the class, like, he's like, you should see me at a grocery store. It's like orgasmic. Like I'm smelling the fruit and I'm
Of
touching and
course.
squeezing the pineapple, like,
Yeah.
and I instantly feel that when I'm doing those cooking
Mhm.
classes. And then I'm like, I don't know what's on the McDonald's app that's cheapest right now or
Yeah.
fastest. And I just can't figure that part of my life out, man.
Mhm. So I've got two thoughts for you.
Okay.
One would be, have you ever thought of a meal delivery service?
Yeah. Yeah. I did one that was like HelloFresh or something, but it was like,
Well, so not that, but like a pre-packaged made. There's one that I can send you the link after this. It's
oh, do it.
they're West Coast. I can get you 10% off, right? It's great.
Awesome.
Great service. Because here's what I work for with my clients on nutrition specifically with high performance, right? I would 100% classify you as a high performer. Convenience is number one, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it takes longer than 10 minutes, consider
Mm-hmm.
it not getting done. right?
Mhm.
Especially on something that you don't already want to do, right?
Totally.
So if I could tell you, Heath, here are 8 meals, 2 every day, 4 days, takes 2 minutes in the microwave. They're homemade. These are the macros. These are the right, like easy
Yeah.
peasy. You just and like what you just said, order on McDonald's. It's the same price. It's the exact same thing, right?
Yeah, you're already spending that money. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
and it's probably cheaper because these meals clock out to about like $15, right?
Oh wow.
Depending on what
Yeah.
you're getting. So if you're door dashing or Uber Eating, that we all know that's like $40 for no reason. You
Oh
get
yeah, dude.
one thing, and it's like,
And the
what the
food
hell?
tastes like crap by the time it gets to you. It's like
Literally, it's cold. It
this thing was cooked 4 hours ago, and
Mhm.
yeah.
Exactly. So that would be the one thing that I would recommend.
Okay.
The second thing, right, when it comes to exercise, that was the other thing you mentioned. Going back to the beginning of our conversation, you said if it's not something that brings you joy or makes you or fizzles you, you kill it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that right there is the issue, right? Not issue, but the main hurdle, right? Because nothing
Mm-hmm.
ever is really like it's just the one thing that we've got. But here's what I would recommend then. Is there anything other than traditional exercise? Because exercise is movement. Movement is not
Yeah.
bound by anything, right? And I feel like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
definitely don't want to be bound by like, all right, here's your workout plan. Here's give me 20 push-ups and run a mile, and then you have
Yeah.
to do it,
Yeah.
right?
I
What
hate
about
that. Yeah.
playing pickleball, or taking your kid on a
Well,
long walk, or like I'm sure there's little things like that that take maybe anywhere from like 5 minutes to an hour of just somehow throughout the week, like, oh, let's do you have a
getting
dog?
into
Take
it.
a dog out for a walk, or just like any sort of little sport, or shoot some hoops, right? Hit a
Well,
tennis ball, something like that.
so this is embarrassing, but if you were to ask my neighbors and my wife, I'm
Mm,
not lying. The one exercise I found that I love, and I will do it every single day, and I just got out of rhythm. Oh God, this is so embarrassing. I'm gonna just say it. So we got a big bedroom, and then I have a back
mhm,
patio.
mhm.
Um, I bought a bunch of moving lights a couple of years ago and fog machines, and I turned my bedroom into a dance club because I was like,
Hell yeah, hell
I
yeah,
put on EDM music with my
dude.
Air Max, and I will dance for an hour, and the lights are going, and
Yeah,
it feels like it's the weirdest exercise. It's embarrassing. Like I
no,
dance for an,
but it shouldn't be
but
movement. It's like, yeah, it's incredible,
well, then you
dude.
feel good.
And
You're like,
that,
I feel
mhm,
yeah,
it's
the energy,
amazing.
like, yeah, it's not the rote running like no, no, no. It's
Mm-mm.
you're moving, and you're feeling it, and then the song changes, then you get excited, and like I'm dancing around the backyard, and there's lasers going off, and my neighbor's like, "What is
Mhm.
this psycho doing?" But it was so. I looked forward to that. I should do that again.
You know what you should do
What's
once you
that?
get your theater up? Weekly 1 hour dance workout classes every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Show up, bring your own
Oh
headphones.
yeah,
You already got the lights, you already got the fog machines. Turn it into a fitness free, bro. Make it free. It's your
make
place.
it free. Yeah, yeah.
Get your own
That's
workout
what
in.
I'm doing that. See,
Yeah.
this is what we were talking about, where you have like people that give you the best idea. Like that's what we're gonna do now.
Hmm.
We're gonna do a weekly. Dude, I love that.
Yeah.
Because what's funny
Hire
is
an
this theater
instructor,
is a
maybe if you want
yeah,
one or not. Just tell everybody, bring your headphones. It's like a silent disco. Get some
just go
Gatorade
sweat it out.
afterwards. Whatever. Maybe some coffee.
Okay. Yeah. I love that. Okay, that's what we're doing. We're gonna do weekly dance exercises in there. I love that
Yeah.
idea. Yeah, that's the one area that I'm like, I feel like I've gotten, you go back to like the things that energize you.
Hmm.
It, it's also the things where like sometimes, it's, I got really good um, at trying to, this is a strange pivot from what we were just talking about, but like,
Hmm. Hmm.
I also try to find ways from a system standpoint that keep me engaged so that when I'm working on something for a while, it can be sustainable. So,
Hmm.
a prime example, and I'm just going to share it. I probably should, if I had a manager, they'd be saying like, "Don't share all your secrets." So, like my podcast, I do a weekly podcast.
Yeah.
I had done it for years, and then I stopped, and then I was encouraged by a bunch of people like, "You should do it again. I love hearing you think." So,
Hmm.
like it's early September right now. My podcast is written and recorded and edited and already scheduled through the end of January of next
Hmm.
year. Because I would sit down and I'd find one day a month and I'd
Hmm.
go, I'm going to write 5 episodes and record all 5 today and edit them and I do that once a month, and I don't think about the podcast again for another month. And then same with like the books. You got 3, 4, 5, 6 running at the same time, and so then it once you start sewing them up, then you have 5 of them online, and that goes real quick. And so that was the other thing, is I'm pretty good at I found it really helpful to be able to go do what brings you joy right now. And if today isn't if I have it on my calendar today to write and record 5 podcasts, and I am not feeling it, well, then I look at like, well, okay, the poster for next month still has to be done. I actually feel energy for that right now. I was going to do that Thursday. I'm just going to do the podcast then, and I'll move in right now what feels life-giving to me today. And that is another way of how I keep going with so many things.
So, it would be interesting if we tie that back into exercise, is if you list 4 to 5 activities that you can do in a given day, because that's the one thing about, right? We need at least like 3 per week. 1 hour. Like that's the one thing where we can't just do, we can't just do it once a month, We could get some benefits out of it, but I would then pivot to say, well, if we had 5 things that you could choose from, right? Let's say dancing, pickleball, long walk, whatever, maybe take a class or go for a bike ride, right? Out of those 5, which one might bring you the most joy on that day,
Yeah.
And
or you can easily associate it, right? Like if you're like,
exactly,
I've got a meeting across town, I can't dance there, but I could probably ride a bike to that and like listen to a podcast at the same time, and you're like 2 birds, 1 stone.
Exactly.
Dude, it's funny because it makes so much sense. Like I'm literally every time I've heard this my entire life, like, okay, it's not that hard, but for some reason it is that hard, man.
And but then, so here's the other thing that I would really is I would be curious as to, again, just based off this conversation and kind of knowing just about the entrepreneurial spirit, is it doesn't have to be in the deep end, even if you, I don't know if Tacoma has this, but like the pseudo bikes that you can just pick up and drop off, right? Even if you only even if you only went halfway and then stopped and then got an Uber the rest of the way, hey, that's a huge win.
Better.
It just because we didn't make it the full way, that doesn't mean that it was a failure of I had completely botched my bike ride, dude. That's twice. That's half. Not twice. That's like you still completed half, and that's more than you would have done if you did 0. So
and I think that mindset is the hardest for me because I am so tenacious that like I don't know how to give myself that grace to go like, so, like yes, I want that, and I want to be able to go like, hey, I was going to take my Tesla, I at least took the bike. I walked halfway. I took the bike halfway. I'm not kind enough to myself to show myself that sort of grace in the sense of like, be proud of yourself like that. I'd be like, no, I'd be more embarrassed if I had to tell somebody like I only did half of my, you know what I mean?
Well, then what if
I'm not saying, I'm just telling you like that's how my mind, I'm not saying not to that. I'm just going like that. My mind has a really difficult time of celebrating any wins.
Okay. So then what if, and you mentioned this with like getting Nate on Netflix, like, all right, what's next, right? So I listened to this guy and he was a sports psychologist, and he talks about how your goal should be, right, low-hanging fruit. So what's something that you can do without fail? And I've done this with some of my clients where it's like, all right, today for the first week, all we're going to do is we're going to have you pick up your shoes and put them by the front door. That's it. You do that, that's a win. And then next week, we're going to just put your shoes on. Okay. Take them off.
Interesting.
That's it. And then the third week, all right, put them on and open the door and maybe step outside. And the idea is that it's such
slow progression
that by the time you step outside, a lot of times or even by the time you put your shoes on, you're like, well, hey, I already put my shoes on. Let me just at least like go out. But anything after that is extra. Everything after that is extra. So if your goal was only to, let me just get to the bike station and like, if I get on one, I get on one. If I don't, I don't. Like that way you're not, right? You're getting yourself in a positive loop versus a negative loop. The second we get into a negative loop with any new habit or thing we're trying to build, it's out the window, And it's like,
which makes a lot of sense too, because I'm like, how many times have I tried the eating right and then I don't stick with it, and then I beat myself up like, you knew this wasn't really going to last, Heath. And I start talking, and then I start believing my own lies on that, right? And then you almost become rather than a champion for your own health. Yeah, you actually are your own enemy.
But if the goal then is to eat even like one bite one time for the week and you do it, hey, that's like you did it, you know? And then that one might turn into the whole meal, right? Or, you know.
Yeah, I like that idea. I need to implement something like that.
Yeah, it's making it so small that it's almost unpassable, you know?
Yeah, you're like, hey, yeah, I'm not going to have a soda today. I'm going to take my water bottle and I'm going to.
And it doesn't even have to be like, a lot of times this is again what I challenge new clients with is everybody wants, right, to jump in and wants to like go, oh, and this is my biggest issue with like, oh, I'm on a diet. I hate that because it's like, one, not necessarily sustainable. Two is like, why are we then all of a sudden making this huge life change that's really going to flip your life upside down? Because then you start a new diet, you order all new groceries, you get clean out your pantry, you throw away all your bread.
Dude, I've done that 1,000 times.
Yeah, which is
For
valid.
all these supplements, my Amazon cart's got $378 worth of organic,
exactly
sheep DNA or whatever it is.
Yeah. Versus just saying like, all right, you know what? For even one afternoon, one time this week, I'm not going to drink a soda. That is already a small incremental change towards your success. You know, I like to view health and wellness as a spectrum where it's like every action, right, we take can either push us in a more healthy direction or maybe in a not so healthy direction, right? And even if we take one step in that more healthy side,
the healthier direction,
it's about the direction you're going. It's not about how far you're getting there, which eventually though you'll get pretty far. And one day you'll wake up and you'll be like, oh my God, it's been all week and I haven't had a soda. I didn't even realize, you know? Or,
dude, that's the way.
Oh my God, I got my shoes on every single day and I've walked outside. It's 5 days this week. Like, what?
Yeah.
You know?
That's good, dude. I'm gonna start practicing that and showing myself a little bit of grace on that. Like,
yeah.
It's okay.
And again, make it so small that it's something you can do. And the other thing is like, I would also encourage you as you know you can do anything you put your mind to, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You've started however many projects, you've done the world tours, you've done the right? So how can we just dial it back so that way you can go further, you know?
Yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then also being gracious in like the times that you do mess up, not just because I'm like I said, I'm so gung ho that like if I'm like I screwed up one time, well then I'm off the train, and then to try to re-talk yourself into it takes another eight months to a year to start even again, and then you last a week, and then you know what I mean, like it. Yeah, I'm my own worst enemy, man.
And most people are, and that's just the way that it goes, you know. Mindset tends to be like what really takes control and really shows us, you know, because it's a similar idea to if I'm training for a marathon and I'm going to go sub 4 hours, right? But I just tell myself every day that I'm slow. I don't care what your training plan is, what your nutrition is, you're probably not going to hit that goal. Because if you're constantly feeding yourself that loop of like, oh, I'm slow and this is going to be so hard. Yeah, it'll be hard. And maybe you started a little bit slower than your goal, but it's a goal for a reason, you know? You got to work slowly, again, incrementally work your way up, you know?
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to take that one to the bank.
Yeah. Please do. And I would be curious then on tracking that and then tracking as well, because to link it to your performance as an entrepreneur, right? Your performance as, hey, you know, today I rode my bike to the meeting and all of a sudden I had all this energy for the meeting. Like, oh, what's that about? You know? Or starting to find those little things, those little nuggets so that like are going to give you those little rewards. Because I mean, no change happens overnight. But again, it's one of those things where you wake up one day and you're like, wow, I've closed the last 60% of my deals. And what's been the changing factor? Oh, I've been riding my bike to half of those, right? Or whatever the case may be. It could be interesting to track and to see what the link is, or if there is one. There could not be. But I would argue
think there is, man. Like I was talking to my uncle. He's 64. And my whole growing up, man, he's been a tobacco chewing, overweight, you know, he's just a nice Southern good old boy. And something kicked in him a couple years ago. And now the guy's traveling around the world doing like 100 kilometer runs. Like He'll do 20 to 30 mile hikes through the mountains before lunchtime, like for his lunch meeting, and he'll go like. And so he was just telling me that he was just in Nepal on Everest,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, this guy's 64. I was like, that's not a problem to climb. And he's like, no, it's easy. Like I have no problem climbing it. Like, and so something switched in him where like his second half of his life, he's like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make this thing work. And now he's literally found that community. He's made the slow decisions. And
Mm-hmm.
so I told him the other day, I was like, dude, you are an inspiration for folks that are
Mm-hmm.
slowing down and giving up. Like you're the Benjamin Buttons of exercise.
Mm-hmm. No.
I think that's just, and I think maybe hiking is like finding that thing. Like I love
Mm-hmm.
hikes and getting out into nature. Like, and maybe it's setting those goals of like, yeah, get out, hike more. Just put on your hiking shoes and go get, do some small hikes, do some flat hikes, then climb some bigger ones, and then
Mm-hmm.
maybe go out and set a goal to do a big one. And if you get a quarter of the way and you're pouring sweat, you might not accomplish it, but you can at least say you've done it and that you're coming back and you're going to attack it again next time.
I was gonna say, and then the next time you do it, try to get a little bit more than a quarter.
Yeah.
Like even if it's 2 steps past, right? I would even argue, start by just driving to the hike trailhead, right? Whatever happens after that happens, but if that's your goal, that's your goal, like if you're already there, you might as well. But
yeah. Just go hit a fake fence in the car and watch a movie. Yeah.
Hey, but at least you made it,
Yeah, at least you made it. It's the best place to have a movie is the parking lot of the trailhead. I'll just look at other hikers and be inspired by what they've done.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Be like, how was it?
And that's the hard thing. Is like, I do think we've talked about the touring side of things. Is that's difficult because every day you're in a different city and you have like you can't take anything through TSA because they're going to frisk you down and make you throw it out. I had a buddy who used to travel with like zucchinis and he just eat them raw walking through the airport, and I was like, that is a serial killer move. But like, surely there's like even finding things like that. Like that's a difficult part of life to be consistent with any sort of food stuff because you're like, typically we do a show, we get in the bus, you wake up in the parking lot of the venue for the next city. It's really disorienting when you wake up and you're in your bus and you walk out front and you don't even know where the closest bathroom is. Like you don't know where grocery stores or restaurants, when you're going to eat again. So typically you eat late at night and you kind of like camel that through the next day until lunchtime so you find the place you're going to, and so I think there's actually some really cool. I've come a bit more off the road the last couple of months just because it's pretty exhausting and having kids, but I think you're right. Like there's no real one size fits all. Like
definitely not. And then the question though too would be, how can you, right? The whole idea of still outsource it, and how can you think less about it, especially when you're on, right? So we mentioned this at one time, but like, how do you mention like, okay, hey, this is where you're going to park, right? Here's like a map of everything that's around you. This is exactly how you should walk to the closest.
Yeah.
Even if it's an IHOP, okay, you're going to go to this IHOP, you're going to order the egg white omelet, and you're going to get a black coffee, and you're going to drink an orange juice, take an ibuprofen, go walk to this park, and maybe just do 2 laps around the park before you go to your, right? Like, it's one of those things too, where it's just on a grander scale of outsourcing, because it is a lot harder, right? And I feel the same thing with a lot of my clients. They'll go on international trips, right? They'll be like, hey, I'm going to London for a week for a whatever partner meeting or something, and we really have to sit down and we really have to like, all right, like these are still our goals, this is still what's important to us, how are we going to make sure that we're at least doing XYZ, right? And maybe not be such tenacious goals as what we have when we're all together in person, but maybe it's still, all right, I'm going to walk outside once a day, I'm going to drink 3 glasses of water and eat 1 vegetable. Like how
the words you just said that resonated with me was like, at least we're at least going to do this, because you're right. You're like, you also want to show yourself, you want to know, like, if I'm in England, I'm doing strawberry jam and scones in the afternoon, like with clotted cream. And it'd be crazy. Like if you were my fitness coach and you're like, hey, I know you're in England, but we're going to commit to our regimen and you're not going to, then like, and that's the life I don't want to live. I want to be able to go
Exactly.
maybe knowing that I'm going to eat some jam and scones this afternoon, I'm going to be a little bit leaner on my breakfast this morning. Or
Exactly.
I'm going to wake up 30 minutes earlier and do a walk around the park, knowing that I'm going to put in an extra couple hundred calories.
Yep.
But that's a really hard thing for me because I'm like cold turkey. I'm like, I'm going to England and I'm not touching anything enjoyable.
But then here's what happens. Here's what happens is you get that, let's say, well, you don't drink. I was going to say your first pint of Guinness, but like, let's say you get that first scone and then all of a sudden now it's like, oh, well, it's all for nothing. It's all for nothing.
Yeah.
Instead of one scone, let me have 20, whatever.
Yeah.
So
you go bingy.
Exactly. Versus just giving that one like, hey, yeah, I'm going to have a scone. I knew this was going to happen. We prepared for it. We just put a little bit more thought and we had it. We did our thing. We knew this was going to happen. Tomorrow, I'm going to have another scone. I love that, right? Like we're going to have it every single day this week.
If it's there,
And so it's just that still like, right, going back into that level of performance, going into that level of whether it's workplace, whether it's international travel, whether it's a tour, being a little bit more prepared. And what's your pre-performance ritual? What's your in the moment, and then what's your post, right? Because the pre and the post might look a lot different. Let's say, all right, Heath, we know you're going to London. Let's push the envelope a little bit when we're here, right? When you're at home, when you can control what you're consuming, when you can control your activity, and when you can control how much you sleep, let's hit it, right? As hard as we can. And when we get back, hey, we know we just came back from a week of London.
Yeah. That's when you give yourself grace, going like, hey, look, you ate a scone every single day. You were in England. Of course you're going to do that. Now we're back home. Let's tighten up again.
Yeah, let's get back to it a little bit, right? Versus whether in some random week where we're not going on vacation for a month and it's like, oh, I had a chocolate croissant. Great, love that. Versus then it's like, oh, we just came back from trip. Maybe we like hold off a little bit on that chocolate croissant, So I think it's more just like really putting things in perspective. Yeah. And putting things just in like what's the minimum and how can we still play, right, and have fun and move in a way that's still pushing us on that side of greater wellness, and greater well-being.
Oh, dude, that's good, man. That's helpful.
Of course.
This is better for I'm the one winning here, man. Like I'm getting all of Tobias's secrets.
Yeah, my manager's standing over there being like, hey, don't.
Yeah, we gotta stop giving away all the secrets. I'm all about making the world a better place.
Of course.
But I need to do it in a way that I'm not going to be able to make it a better place if I'm not here. So I think the health side of things is really important.
And I would even argue that you could make it a better place with you being at your best, right?
Oh, dude,
if you're
absolutely.
not at your best, then honestly, to hell with all your ideas. Because if one day you wake up grumpy, and then instead of asking those nice quality questions of, hey, what should we do with this like ceiling, right? Or how should we rearrange these chairs? And it's just a grumpy bad day, and you're just like, get the hell out of my office, right? Like, it's probably not that hard, but like,
no, people will say like, dude, you're what's going on? Like, you are not normal right now. And I can tell as soon as every time I commit to eating clean and stuff, and I'm like, it takes only about 2 days, and I'm like, I'm less irritable. I'm like, my fuse is a lot longer. It's not the short stuff that sets me off. The reaction to loud noises and stuff is just a little bit calmer. Like, and it's wild because you're like, everything in you feels great when that's happening, or like, after a great workout, you're like, I mean, like I put in a 12-hour day yesterday, and I was telling the team, I was like, one of my favorite things at night is to do a long day like that, come home, take a hot shower, and then just like that feeling of just like exhaustion going to sleep. Like I do crave that, but I also don't show myself, like I don't work at a level that I give myself the grace to feel that more often than I should.
And I mean, part of that goes then too into this level of like eustress versus de-stress, right? Eustress is the healthy stress that we put on our body in the sense of like exercise, in the sense of cardiovascular activities, the sense of like where, right, you've heard the phrase where we like tear it down to build it back up, right? In a way that's healthy, controlled, regulated. Versus de-stress is that like, oh my God, the plumbers are here and the electricians are also here and the whole building's going to catch on fire. And, that has a similar effect on the
That's
body, but it's
that's what creates the
unregulated.
heart attacks. Yeah, yeah.
100%,
Seriously.
100%.
Yeah.
And those 12-hour days, the more we learn to navigate and to handle our eustress, the more that we can push those days and still feel that sense of exhaustion afterwards, but still kind of push the envelope a little bit, and have
Yeah.
more of those days that are still productive and still like to your max level, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Well,
Little wizard over there.
hey, I'm doing my best,
He's a workout
My
wizard.
I should make that into my Twitter handle.
The nutritional ninja, yeah.
Yeah, there we
That's
go.
fun. Well, we got to get you out of this theater, man. We got to get you out here.
Please.
For those who are watching this, like Tobias and I went to Colombia. That we spent 2 weeks together in the Choco rainforest and
Yep.
getting chikungunya shots and all that sort of stuff. And we survived, and
Did it in the rain.
and now it's cool seeing you take on this world. I know just from our interactions over the last couple of years, this has really taken root in you, and I know your heart really is to take care of people, and
I love
I
it.
see that.
Yeah, I think like when you talk about excitement, you talk about like that passion. I think I love just helping people just like get to be their best version of themselves. It's just next level. I just love seeing the potential and being like, oh, I know you can get here. I know you can get here. And then they get there and it's like, hell yeah. All right, here's where now I know we can definitely get to,
Well, it's
like
so cool seeing that because it's almost like a mirror for me, like and how I try to be that person to so many people. Like you really are that to see that excitement in you and to see that that's what you're passionate about and teaching people the tools and the tricks and just things to consider, like giving them that information. Like it's cool seeing you do that because most people in this, it feels like in kind of the health fitness stuff, it's the barrier to entry is so it's so much often. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna get you into training. That's $4,500 for a 30-day package, and then the food is gonna be another $6,700 because you need to do organic and be like, and then you're like, well, okay, I'm not wealthy enough to be healthy. And I think what you do is you make it reasonable and easy and make it more common sense, which is the approach I think we really do need to health and fitness.
Yeah, thank you. And I love to just again linking it to performance because I feel like there's such an overlap that isn't really explored, a lot of people talk about, right? Like the level of, we just talked about it, right? Getting good night's sleep, that clean, so to speak, more nutritious eating, and just the level that it has on, right? Stress, the level that it has on energy, productivity, creative thinking, right? All that just gets enhanced, and it's a super solid link,
Yeah, I like the other thing that I forgot to mention is I do a lot of word games as well. Like I like keeping my brain sharp, and so that's another thing that I would just say. Like Wordle, I still play every morning because I'm like, I like waking up and getting my brain thinking and stretched, and it's a muscle, and that's that was just another.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good stuff. And and it's all important. It's all relevant in the health and wellness sphere, mind, body, spirit, community, environment, right? Everything's important.
Having good friendships, dude. That's just as healthy. Yeah, like having good conversations and people that you can call. Yeah, it all matters.
Love, all that stuff. Yeah. Feeling safe. Yeah, it's all really important.
Big part of it for sure.
Well, Heath, I appreciate you jumping on the podcast, man. Thanks for
anytime, dude. I've always got stuff to chat about. So next time you call me, man, I'll always be a guest for you.
100%.
I haven't had any guests on mine this year, so maybe you can be the first. Maybe we'll do that. We'll do the little flipperoo.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be a lot of fun.
Awesome, man.
Awesome.